all of them. I want to congratulate Angry Man podcast. You know, the light skinned black dude that might have been traumatized by a woman back when he was young. So he spends all day bashing black women every which way he can and talking shit about any black woman that tried to do anything for her community, even though his blackness is questionable in of itself. Because I've heard that he's really just a Mexican pretending to be black. That's what I heard. That's what people say. But I want to congratulate people like him who trying to get to that conservative bag because he want the money and he go against his supposed community for that bag. I want to congratulate all the black Republicans who seem to be nowhere to be found because your white masters have not given you any marching orders because you're no longer necessary. Just like those Brahmin Indians who thought that they were part of the club, guess what? They're no longer they're no longer necessary. Just like all those white women who thought they were supporting their white men, guess what? Their ideas and opinions are no longer necessary, right? Just like you black Coonarians who thought that you was American, right? Guess what? You're no longer necessary. That's why y'all guys are so quiet because Fox News.
And what he don't know is that the women are a part of it too. Eve is a part of it too. So I don't understand why he's trying to put black women on a pedestal when they are a part of that shit. They love the deep state. They are a part of the benefits that the deep state give them, and they willing to put down a man, and they exalt themselves so they can get money out of the state. And the white man knows that keeping the black man down is keeping them out of control and out of power because there's no true solid leadership, you know. And putting a woman up and allowing her to go crazy and rampant is destroying the family. It's destroying the nucleus family, is what they would call it, of the black people. But for some strange reason, out of all his attempts and everything that he's done, we still multiply. So it's just like at the end of the day, that black woman, she did have she did have a job in destroying our people and destroying our nation. You know, all the way down from the black man to his children. You know, even to this day. So don't try to put the black woman on the pedestal. And they was a part of it too. And like I said, they would have went even more buck wild if Kamala Harris was in office, and they would have voted for more rights. They would have voted to suck more money out of the black man. They would have voted to destroy us, man. They would have just kept destroying us and kept destroying us, and they would have been serving the state even more, you know. So, like I said, either way, it's a double-edged sword. It wouldn't have been no good to even vote for any of them. What they should have did is take the power. Go back to Yahweh Shem Shai and tell him to take the power. It would have happened a whole lot quicker if these people would just accept who they are. But they don't. Like this man, he don't. He don't got no mind. He don't know what the fuck he talking about. He got certain points, but these other shit is just how he feel. He not going on straight facts. He don't even know what's going on. It's hard not to know, you know, about Yahweh Shem Shai and the name Yahweh Shai. It's hard not to know about the Almighty. It's hard not to know about the children of Israel by now. So if you don't know who you are by now, and you've heard who you are and you rejected it, you're gonna die for sure.
Haven't given you your marching orders. You have nothing to say. That's why y'all still online talking about Kamala Harris because you regurgitating content that your white master gave you because you have none of your own because none of y'all think for yourselves. That's why y'all so silent. That's why y'all silent when on Dr. Martin Luther King birthday we had a foreign white apartheid baby immigrant who you should be calling a tether, right? Stand there on his birthday and give a Heil Hitler 2 times with his full chest on national TV at a Republican inauguration. Then the next day, his vice president, Donald Trump, puts into legislation to roll back the civil rights legislation that we, our ancestors, and our elders fought so hard for. While you Republicans chalk up the civil rights movement to just wanting to eat with white folk, knowing damn well that civil rights movement was more than just wanting to eat with white folk, knowing damn well that the civil rights movement was about equality, was about having the same quality services that the white folk have, having the same access to resources that those white folks have, not being discriminated against in academia like we are currently being discriminated against right now as they are rolling back all the mechanisms we fought for in order to make it so we can have an opportunity and that POCs, their ungrateful asses, can have opportunities too. So yeah, I want to congratulate all you black people who thought it was cool to rap white supremacy in hip-hop wrapping paper, who's still having dumb, redundant conversations right now about who invented hip-hop, because that's the only thing FBA, foundational black Americans, foundationally broke-ass Americans, foundationally busted Americans, functionally broke Africans, all of you guys, because you want to get rid of your Africanness, because you want to try to attach yourself to this nationality of America as if you were ever accepted as an American. And thanks to you and your inactions and your working towards your community's best interest, they are now rolling back legislation that we African Americans fought so hard for. So good thing us proud African Americans that are strong and knew this was coming, right? We're going to cope like we always do. We're going to survive like we always do. We're going to do what we've been doing, surviving in a situation where the people that run our societies are white supremacists. The only difference now, there's no hiding it. So none of y'all guys can come out and say, oh, racism doesn't exist. Look how foolish Snoop Dogg and Nelly and them look. The day after they perform for the Fourth Reich, they come out and they're doing Heil Hitler. Let them know exactly they nothing but the entertainment, nothing but their help. Snoop Dogg ain't nothing but a little baby dog, you little poodle. Nelly been played out. Nelly sold out for money because he was no longer relevant. Because maybe he wasn't good with his money. The man, he need money. So he went and he performed for white supremacy, chucking and driving. The same way we had small elements of our entertainment community chucking and jiving. The same people that promote the destruction of our communities are the same people that continue to promote the destruction of our communities, and they continue to shake hands and parlay and chuck and dance for those who author and pay for and sponsor the destruction of our communities. They are the real Coonarians. So yeah, congratulations to all the black people who thought you knew better, because y'all don't know shit about politics. Because you couldn't vote for the reasonable candidate. Because when you looked at Kamala Harris, you went through her record with a fine-tooth comb. She had to be perfect. And because she wasn't perfect, you didn't want to vote for her. But Donald Trump, with all his flaws, you had no problem with that. So now you're going to F around and find out. Now we all got to deal with the consequences of your stupidity in your vote. We have to deal with the consequences of unintelligent voters within our black community. It's bad enough we got to deal with the unintelligent racist voters within all the other communities, right? But we got to deal with the unintelligent ones within our communities that set us back, that set everybody else back. You are most definitely on the wrong side of history. And
well, as far as I'm concerned, he had a few points, but he's losing his narrative. Like I said, this is a 2/3 right here, so they don't really see, what they need to see. They don't see the unseen, like those of us that know that we Israelites, we got the spiritual eyes to see the things that these 2/3 can't see, So at the end of the day, he has certain points, and yeah, them people that did sell out, they sold out for sure. Them niggas sold out, Nelly, all of them niggas, man, all of them rappers and all them performers and all of that. Yeah, they house niggas, been knew that. Ain't nothing new. Like I said, don't let no piece of paper or civil rights agreement ever make you think that we are actually equal to these people. That ain't true. And it never was true. And for people that actually believe that, even back then, it might have been an impact back then, but nowadays, that ain't shit. We all know that. All right, let me get to another video from Lady LeBeau that made me laugh. I've been looking at. Because the white men know that he out of here. And after Trump, it probably won't be no other president. Give me 1 second. All right, who cares, bro? Dumb 2/3 that really don't know what's going on. But they meant to play their part blind. Oh, well, so when it hits them, it's gonna hit them hard. Mm, It's not gonna be no feeling sorry for these 2/3. Bam, there we go. This one is
I
important.
want women to know that you're not limited to anything other than living your life openly and honestly. Ask your healthcare provider if Biktarvy is right for you, and visit Biktarvy.com to view the important facts, including important warnings. And thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. Today, I want to talk about a subject that I think is very serious, and that is when white people received reparations. Because, in fact, white people didn't get reparations, they just got free gifts in America for being white. And since there's so much pushback against black people getting reparations for a debt that's owed, that was owed to our ancestors that they were not able to collect, I think it's time for us to look at white people's reparations. And I don't even know what you call it, because reparations mean repairing for some damage that you've done. And no damage was done to them. They just came across the ocean to increase the white population in the United States of America. That's what theirs was about. Just like Donald Trump now is talking about annexing Canada and invading Greenland. This is all about adding more white people to the population of the United States of America, because they are at a 0% birth rate and it is irreversible.
So, like I said, right now it's not a good time to be white, and in fact, it's happening everywhere around the world. They just not letting you see all that, and the only people that came forward was Japan, and Japan is birth rate is collapsing very badly, and they race is dying. You know, and it could be from it's a lot of things like these different curses that's coming upon them from the Lord. Well, mainly that. And climate change, things are changing. Things are getting hotter. Um, it's a lot of other things on why this is happening. And in order for them to survive, they're going to have to cling on to the children of Israel to survive, because these curses are coming upon them and it's destroying them, especially, the white man. Right now, the white man is trying to fix that birth rate and that death rate, because their death rate is higher than the birth rate. It's a lot more people dying. It's a lot of old ass white people. These old ass boomers that make up most of the population outweigh the younger generation of white people and the middle age. And what's happening right now is making it no better, because a lot of these white people, a good majority of them are they not racist, and they're mingling with the children of Israel, and they children are coming out black, and they blacken the race out. That's what they call it, blackout. And the more and more that they mingle with these other races, the shorter and shorter their population becomes. So right now it's very dangerous for the white man, because his population is very low, and that's going around not just in America but around the world. They having this problem, all the way down from the women getting out of control. They becoming dominant. They're not desiring families. They're not desiring these things. They want to go out and they want to be just harlots and whores. They don't want no future. They don't. They want men to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on them, especially the white men, because all he about is money. So even they own females, they own women is looking at them like they all about the money. And from abuse and from the things that they've suffered, they're going from they abandoning a race and joining another, even though it's not to no benefit for them, because it's actually killing them off. So their children are coming out black, and through the father seed. Now, if the father is mingling with a woman and the child come out white, the child is black due to the father seed. due to the black man's seed. But if a white man mingles with a black woman and the child come out white, his son come out white, no, his son come out black, then he's still white because the father's seed goes back to the white man. So, it's mingled, but at the same time, it will be organized enough for people to see, and when the time come and the times is revealed, Yahweh Shem Shai is going to take the elect, take those of us that belong, and you can see a white Israelite being beamed up because he believed and his father was an Israelite, so that makes him an Israelite by right. And you can see him being beamed up, like, wait a second, he's white, so why is he going? No. It's not about, it's about the spirit, So at the end of the day, these white people is dying, and they dying on massive levels, on massive scales, and the media is not going to tell you that. The news is not going to tell you that. Nobody's going to tell you that. You got to be able to do your own homework. And that's exactly what these people are doing their own homework and figuring all this shit out. So it's very embarrassing for them. And you can only imagine just standing at one store, for example, and you seeing all the fucking Israelites going in and out every day, so many of them, and you'll see so few white people coming in and out of these stores. They might stay in their designated areas, but, outside of their designated zones, most of these zones is covered by Israelites, and it's so many of them. It's so many Israelites. It's not even funny. They outnumber the whites by millions. It's that serious. So this is why they said Judah shall be a terror to Egypt, man, because they trying to fight against the white. The white people is fighting against the dying of the light per se, and they going against the Israelites, and they want to fight them. That's how crazy these guys is. They feel like they can back it up because of their technology and their weapons, which they will have like a good footing. But ultimately, the Israelites are still gonna win. They're gonna win this war. So it's like there's just no hope for him. Going broke. Sexuality is low. He can't please his woman. So it's causing separation. He going to even the white man is going off to go have sex with the children of Israel. Go get them a black woman. Go get them a white woman getting a black man. It's just getting crazy, man. It's getting crazy. So it's just like at the end of the day, this is what it is, and their time is up. It says right here, for the day of Yahweh of hosts shall come upon everything proud and lofty. That's the white man. It says upon everything lifted up, and it shall be brought low. That's what's happening to white people right now. They're being brought low. They're taking our place, and we're taking their place. So it says, upon all the cedars of Lebanon that are high and lifted up, and upon all the oaks of Bashan, upon all the high mountains, and upon all the hills that are lifted up, upon every high tower, and upon every fortified wall, upon all the ships of Tarshish, and all the beautiful slopes, meaning that everything that they got is being taken and given to the Israelites, everything. It says, the loftiness of a man shall be bowed down. It says, and the hardiness of men shall be brought low. It says, Yahweh alone will be exalted in that day, but the idols he shall utterly abolish. They shall go into the holes of the rocks and into the caves of the earth, meaning that the white man is going to return back to where he came from, which is the interior of the earth, hiding in bunkers and underground cities, and hiding out in bomb-proof shelters, man, to get away from Yahweh Shem Shai and his wrath, because they the ones that's about to set them bombs off to try and depopulate and restart everything. That's their last-ditch effort. They're going through all of these other options before they use that option, even though they're going to use it anyway. But they trying each and other option. But they starting to understand that it's only one option for them to destroy everything. That's all they can do. And then they're going to run off into these underground bunkers, especially these governments, these fucking Democrats, Republicans that got access to that kind of shit. And these secret societies, they probably under the bunkers right now, living there. So they ain't got to go nowhere. That's how cowardly the leaders are of the Edomites. They don't want to go out. They want to influence the other dumber white people that's going to serve them into going against the children of Israel and dying. Dying for a cause that doesn't even matter. And a lot of them bodyguards that they gonna take and these professional killers, they gonna turn against them and rob them and take over them cities. It's gonna be hell on wheels for the secret societies. And a lot of those bodyguards and a lot of these people that serve, that get their tickets to go into them underground cities and them bunkers, they're gonna turn on them because they're gonna realize that they're only the strong survive. You know, and they got the guns and they're protecting these people families and they're looking out for them, so it's not going to be good for, like Yahweh said, wherever they go my hand going to reach them. It's going to be no escape for these motherfuckers, no escape. So they going to have it, very, very bad. It's not going to end good for the white man, none of that shit. But in his mind, he feel like he going to survive and he going to prevail when every hand, like it says, every hand of the wicked shall be against him, the worker. Them people that work for you and that dedicated their lives to protect you, them gonna be the same people to rob you. And the white man, these Israelite, no, these elites and all of that, they believe that they gonna protect them and all that. When money is not gonna matter, no income's gonna matter, nothing of that's gonna matter. What's gonna matter is food, women, manpower, the armies, people who are the strongest of the people. That's what's gonna matter. That is gonna go back to the Mad Max, and that's exactly what it is. They gonna have it the worst, so it's all bad for them. And it says they shall go into the holes of the rocks and into the caves of the earth from the terror of Yahweh and his glory of his majesty, when he rises to shake the earth mightily. We all know that great earthquake is the nuclear day, when the bombs shake the entire world. So it says, in that day, man will cast away his idols of silver and his idols of gold, which they made each for himself to worship, to the moles and bats, and to the clefts of the rocks, and to the crags of the rugged rocks, from the terror of Yahweh and the glory of his majesty. Right, all of that, 16 Chapel, that big ass Jesus statue in Rio, and fucking Roman statues and these racist pillars, like I think Teddy Roosevelt or whatever, these racist ass pillars of George Washington and all that, these statues, they all gonna be just destroyed in a pile of rocks and destroyed buildings. They're not gonna matter. Them elites don't believe in none of that shit. They're gonna abandon all that shit. It says, when he arises to shake, it says, from the terror of Yahweh, when he arises to shake the earth mightily. They keep telling you, sever yourselves from such a man whose breath is in his nostrils. For what account is he? Amen. It says, for behold, the Yahweh, the Lord of hosts, takes away from Israel, Jerusalem and Judah, the stock and the store, the whole supply of bread and the whole supply of water. Famine is coming, because this white man gonna go hard, man. He's gonna go hard. It says, the mighty man and the man of war. It says, and the judge and the prophet and the diviner and the elder. They all gonna die, all these 2/3. All of them. The mighty man, that's them gangbangers. The man of war, that's them soldiers that joined the white man and joined his campaign. Most of the gangbangers, they gonna die in the race wars, in the riots. And the mighty man, it's two ways that's going to happen. He going to get either sent to the Valley of Jehoshaphat, which is the Valley of Slaughter, and fight War 3 overseas, or he going to get sent to his own home ground, and he's going to have to do urban guerrilla warfare against his own people and die like that, because they done signed up for a cause that's not theirs, and they chose to believe in something that don't got no benefit for them. None of that shit. That's not real, Them soldiers, they gonna die. And it says, the judge and the prophet, and black cops, those are judges, and black judges, they gonna die too. And them fake preachers, that's preaching all the prosperity doctrines and ways to get they people money so they can stay rich and they can stay living lavish, they gonna die too. So it says, the captain of the 50 and the honorable man. Good people with careers, you know, all the way to black people and their militia groups. They're gonna get wiped out. They all 2/3. Um, the counselor and the skillful artisan, the builders, people who create things, architecture, all the way down to uh, uh, different kinds of inventions and stuff, and helping them build the society. These giant buildings and all that. All them Israelites, they not marked by Yahweh, and they choose not to go back to the Lord, so they all gonna die. It says, and the expert enchanter. Yeah, the magicians and the witches and all of them voodoo people and all them people that's into witchcraft among our people, they're going to die too. It says, I will give children to be their princes, and babies shall rule over them. It says, the people will be oppressed, everyone by another, and everyone by his neighbor. The child will be insolent toward the elder, and the base toward the honorable. That's exactly what happened. And those babies that the Lord's speaking about is the Edomites. It says, when a man takes hold of his brother and the house of his father, saying, you shall have clothing, you shall be our ruler, and let these ruins be under your power. In the day he will protest, saying, I cannot cure your ills. For in my house is neither food nor clothing. Do not make me a ruler of the people. For Jerusalem stumble and Judah is fallen because of their tongue, and their doings are against Yahweh, to provoke the eyes of his glory. The look on their countenance witnesses against them, and they declare their sin as Sodom. They do not hide it. Woe to their soul, for they have brought evil upon themselves.
I don't know what they would actually offer these people, but I guarantee you, if they agree to become a part of the United States, they're going to get some compensation for it. So that would be compensation rather than reparations. I guess that's what you would call it. Compensation for agreeing to come to the United States and increase the white population. But let's talk about the freebies that they have gotten just on the basis of being white. Now, I don't believe white people know this. They really believe they built the country. They have added something very important to America. But the work has always been done by black people, but they have benefited simply because they're white. And since this is Dr. Martin Luther King's week, I want you to hear what Dr. Martin Luther King had to say about this.
America freed the slaves in 1863 through the Emancipation Proclamation, but gave the slaves no land or nothing in reality to get started on. At the same time, America was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that there was a willingness to give the white peasants from Europe an economic base. And yet it refused to give its black peasants from Africa, who came here involuntarily in chains and had worked free for 244 years, any kind of economic base. And so emancipation for the Negro was really freedom to hunger. It was freedom to the winds and...
Bam. So it says, say to the righteous, this is Isaiah chapter 3, verse 10. It says, say to the righteous that it will be well with them. That's the children of Israel. For they shall eat the fruit of their doings. Meaning that all the work and everything and all the strife and all the struggle that they've been through, they are going to reap the benefits out of that. For the reward of his hands shall be given him. That's exactly because we built this place. We built America. But Yahweh is the one that's going to give us those benefits and those blessings. A white man can't give it to us. The Lord has to give it to us. So it says, as for my people, children are their oppressors. That's right. These Edomites are nothing but babies, children, and we helping them, and we are taking care of them, and they are reaping the benefits off our backs. Like they said, they came over here and they started oppressing us, and they was giving away conquered land to these people that was coming from Europe. So it says, and women rule over them. O my people, those who lead you cause you to err and destroy the way of your paths. Right, and our women is out of control. So it says, Yahweh stands up to plead and stands to judge the people. Yahweh will enter into judgment with the elders of his people and his princes. That's right. It said, and them elders is them fake prophets, and them princes is them celebrities. That's why it's a lot of these celebrities that's dying right now. For you have eaten up the vineyard. The poor, the plunder of the poor is in your houses. That's right. They got all that money and all the progress and everything that us Israelites is done. Some of our people are taking that from us. You know. So it says, "What do you mean by crushing my people?" It says, "What do you mean by crushing my people and grinding the faces of the poor?" says Yahweh, and that's the elect among Israel. It says, "Moreover, Yahweh says, because the daughters of Zion are haughty and walk with outstretched necks." It says, "and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, making a jingling with their feet. Therefore, Yahweh will strike with the scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, because our women are corrupted." It says, and Yahweh will uncover their secret parts. And that day Yahweh will take away the finery, the jingling, the anklets, the scarves, and the crescents, the pendants, the bracelets, and the veils, headdresses, the leg ornaments, and the headbands, the perfume boxes, the charms, and the rings, the nose jewels, the festal apparels, and the mantles, the outer garments, the purses, the mirrors, the fine linen, the turbans, and the robes. And so it shall be. Instead of a sweet smell, there will be a stench. Instead of sash, a rope. Instead of well set hair, baldness. So what's happening right now with a lot of our women? They're going homeless. The black women, it's a lot of black women that's going homeless, and this is because they don't want to exalt the black man over them. And it's not just them; it's it's all of Israel. A lot of the women don't want to exalt the. It's just not just them, but it's mainly at the same time mainly a majority of the black women. But they don't want to exalt no man. You know, they don't care about their feelings. They don't want to coexist, because since this society they feel like it's been good to them, they actually think that they deserve to be above men. But right now, what's happening is that a lot of them rights is being destroyed, and the women that they part for the deep state, so now they don't need them no more. And these women are being a lot of the women is being cast aside. A lot of them. It's not, mainly it's a great majority of the black women, but it's a lot of women that's being cast aside. A lot of the children of Israel, these Indians, Mexicans, they being cast aside because they believed in the society rather than believing in their people and believing in their men. And men is coming out more fucked up, and some of us are going our own ways, and a lot of us aren't committing. And in these times, they're going to need men. That's what they're starting to notice right now. A lot of women are starting to become more and more available to men. And it doesn't matter if you're ugly or not, And they are starting to know that in these times that are coming, in these dark times we heading into, you're going to need a man. And that's exactly what's happening. They ain't got no men. Nobody. The men are just, hit it and quit it motto. That's what they are. And a lot of us are into ourselves, and a lot of us are dating outside of our race to find elsewhere, or dating because you got a lot of Israelites that are a part of the different nations that look like the heathen and are not. And a lot of them are finding them and dating them, so you can have a white woman that got a black daddy. That means she's an Israelite. You can have a Japanese girl that has a black father, and she could look all Japanese, all white, and her father was black. She's a fucking Israelite, and that's for those of us that know the truth, that are trying our best to stay away from these other nations, for now, because we're going to have all them in the kingdom anyway. But for right now, judgment is falling upon all the nations and everybody. But just in general, a lot of our people, a lot of our brothers is going across overseas to find women, to find happiness, So, and they leaving a lot of the westernized women in the dirt where they belong. And a lot of us guys, that are building up and, going to the gym and taking care of ourselves and bulking up, they just hit it and quit it. For those of us that can't afford to go out and go find these women, we either looking for them here or we just hitting and quit women, and that's it. There's no dedication, no help, no salvation for them. They're going to have it bad in these times that are coming. So it says, and so it shall be, instead of a sweet smell, there will be a stench. Instead of a sash, a robe. Instead of well-set hair, baldness. Instead of a rich robe, a girding black sackcloth. And branding instead of beauty. It says, your men shall fall by the sword, and your mighty in the war. That's right. A lot. When World War III happened, a lot of our brothers is going to war, and they're not coming back. So it says, her gates shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit on the ground. And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own food and wear our own apparel. And that's exactly what's happening right now. But the men of the Lord is what's going to have. The 7 women is just a representation of the women that's going to cater to them and have them, because a lot of the men is going to get cut off. And that's for a reason. During the race wars and World War III and all that's happening, a lot of the men is going to die. So that's going to leave a lot of our women to starve to death, to be killed by the beast of the earth, and soldiers. For them to be ripped apart, for them to not have any spiritual protection. That's where the men of the Lord is going to come in, and one man is going to have like 2,000-3,000 women. And they're going to cater to them. It's not going to be a lot of men that's coming into these times, so it's going to be mass death. It says, in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own food and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by your name. Take away our shame or reproach. In that day the branch of Yahweh shall be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and appealing for those of Israel who have escaped. And that is for the kingdom on earth, the kingdom of heaven coming to earth, because a lot of these brothers is going to be impregnating them. So, when they come down off them chariots, they're going to be multiplying off the rip, just like that. All of the people that died is going to come through the chosen, and they're going to be multiplied on the earth probably in less than fucking 30 to 40 years into the new world of the kingdom of heaven on earth. Most of the Israelites will be back. So, a lot of this is just, it can't be undone. You can't stop the word of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. But, as far as I'm concerned with the women, they're going to suffer during these times very badly, very badly. But we're going to get back on track with this and keep watching some of this. And yeah, it is true,
Rains of heaven. It was freedom without food to eat or land to cultivate, and therefore it was freedom and famine at the same time. I believe we ought to do all we can and seek to lift ourselves by our own bootstraps. But it's a cruel jest to say to a bootless man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps.
So the first compensation that white people got for coming to the United States of America was land, free land. As you know, I taught elementary school for many years. And one of the things we were taught back in the day in teacher training is that one of the most important things that you can do with children is read to them. So the teacher reading to children is very important, especially young children, because it models good reading. It teaches the importance of introducing a story, of reading a sentence correctly, pausing at commas, stopping at periods, and showing excitement when there's an exclamation point at the end of a sentence, and so forth. Some of the books are written in series. I'm sure some of you read series books like Goosebumps and Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events. One of the series that I like to read was Little House on the Prairie by Laura Ingalls Wilder. In one of those books, and I think it's Little House in the Big Woods, I'm not sure, but in one of those stories, Paul Ingalls came home one day and told his wife that they were moving. I believe they said they were moving either to the Oregon or the Colorado territory. And the reason is because he said they had opened up land out there. Now, back in those days when I was reading that story, I didn't even think about what that meant. He said they had opened up land in that territory. So they were moving out there to get free land. Okay? Now, what did that mean, though, that they had opened up the land? That meant they had fought those indigenous people and defeated them. And now they were parceling out land to white people. So that was one of the enticements of the Europeans to come to the United States. You're going to get free land. Some of them got a lot of land. Some of them just got what they needed, but some of them got a lot of the land. My point being that land is money even now in the United States. And they got free land that belonged to other people. But that was the enticement for them to come. And they came in droves. This big land giveaway was called the Homestead Act, and it was passed in 1862. And it gave away an overwhelming amount of land to white settlers out west. According to reports, nearly 270 million acres of Indian territory was converted to private property for white settlers. They hadn't done anything to earn this land, but come to the United States to increase the white population. And there were other freebie efforts to build wealth for white people in America. The 1790 Naturalization Act was legislation where only free whites were allowed to become naturalized citizens of the United States. So this opened the doors for European immigrants, but not anyone else. They had the right to vote, to serve on juries, and to hold office. It was exclusively reserved for white citizens. Now, when it says free whites in 1790, when they opened the prisons in Europe and let out the prisoners, they sent them here as indentured servants. So they were not considered free, but they were such sorry workers and of no real use to building the empire till they did away with the indentured servants. So when they started talking about they were slaves, they were not slaves, they were indentured servants, and they were sent here because they had committed crimes in Europe. So the after-slavery Jim Crow laws lasted from 1877 until 1964 when the Civil Rights Bill was passed. This was an opportunity for white people to exploit black labor in many forms. It would take a whole different video to go over the different ways that black people were exploited under the Jim Crow laws. There was also the Wagner Act of 1935. This act was also known as the National Labor Relations Act. It was legislation that gave labor unions the power of collective bargaining, defining unfair work practices, and established consequences if those rules were broken. As unions excluded black workers from better paying jobs and benefits like health care, pension, and job security, millions of white workers were able to work their way into the middle class. This was legislation, the United States government actively working against black workers while building wealth for white workers. Also in 1935, the Social Security Act was passed under President Franklin D. Roosevelt, and this was a part of the New Deal. The Social Security Act provided a financial safety net for millions of workers and guaranteed that they would continue to be paid after retirement. But this luxury didn't extend to everyone. The act excluded agricultural and domestic laborers, many of whom were Black, Mexican, and Asian. I have a question. Who was the overwhelming majority of Black Americans during in 1935? Black Americans were agricultural and domestic laborers in 1935. Therefore, they were not eligible for Social Security benefits. But we have these Africans and Caribbeans coming over here who don't know what in the hell they are talking about, accusing black people of being lazy because we get so much free stuff. Well, these programs were put in place for white Americans. White Americans received benefits from Social Security decades before black people were able to benefit from that program. And that's not all. The GI Education Bill, Veterans Administration Housing Authority, and healthcare system were put in place mostly for white members of the armed forces. They were able to continue their education. They received guaranteed private housing and granted access to a public healthcare system long before black people. Many of these benefits were reserved for white veterans. However, for the handful of black veterans who could participate in these programs, their benefits were still fewer than those of their white counterparts. So even in the veteran system, in the military, they still discriminated against black veterans. Black men who had served in every war and had served gallantly in every war were discriminated against when it came to receiving benefits that would help them with their health care, with their education, and with their housing. And this brings us to FHA, Federal Housing Administration. Under this bill, white families were granted home loans, making it possible for them to purchase their very first humble abode. Unfortunately, mortgage eligibility was often tied to race, while those living in integrated neighborhoods were deemed a flight risk and denied loans. In other words, white people received a mortgage from the federal government to get their first starter home, and black people were denied those loans. These are just a few times that white people have received compensation for doing nothing but being white. So when we're talking about reparations, y'all, let's just remember that they already got theirs. They got theirs on the front end. So just like Clarence Thomas on the Supreme Court, who benefited from affirmative action, once he got in, he wanted to shut the door for everybody else. This is the same thing with white people. They got theirs on the front end, and they want to shut it down for black people. So this is...
And that is true. One more before I close out, and this won't be a full. I'm gonna try and make this one quick. It says, this is chapter 6. No, this is chapter 16 in the book of Luke, verse 1. It says, he also said to his disciples, this is Yahushua writing in red. It says, there was a certain rich man who had a steward, and an accusation was brought to him that this man, wait, this is chapter 19, actually chapter 19. This is actually verse 19. I start at verse 19. It says, there was a certain rich man who was clothed in purple and fine linen and fared sumptuously every day. It says, but there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, full of sores, who was laid at his gate. It says, desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. So it was when the beggar died, and was carried away by the angels to Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died and was buried. And being in torments in Hades, in hell, remember, is a living condition. It is not a place where you go and you burn forever and you never see the presence of Yahweh. You never see paradise. All things go back to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Every soul goes to heaven. So, but this being said, and being in torments in Hades, meaning that he was a bum, he took the place of Lazarus, and Lazarus was a bum, which is the children of Israel right now. And it says, and he lifted his eyes and saw Abraham afar off and Lazarus in his bosom, meaning that they were in heaven. It says, and Lazarus was king. So it says, then he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me and send Lazarus that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. So he wanted any kind of mercy, any kind of respite, any kind of blessing to stop him from feeling this pain, and I was on my way to going to go buy something from the store, and it's this homeless guy, this homeless Israelite brother that is sleeping in a man-made little hut, made of old couches and wood. and he had a little fire, and he had his little bed, and he was sleeping right here in the dirt pile, by the dirt pile. And he called, and at first I told him that I didn't have any change because I give him change every day. But seeing him in this is the hellish condition that he's referring to, that the Bible is referring to. This is the hellish condition that Israel is coming out of. We are actually leaving from being bums and from leaving this hellish condition, and we going up to being rulers and kings and princes and princesses and royalty, back to where we belong. And this white man is taking our place. This is why they going broke and they going through suffering. It's because the curses are being transferred over to them. So I went to the store. I gave him $2, and I went to the store and bought him a big piece of bread. They call it concha for in Mexican. It's this big ass piece of bread with some icing on it. Sweet bread is good. And I gave him 3 bananas that I bought, and gave it to him. And that's the example of him saying, it says that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. Meaning that when the white man and his people are bums, nobody is going to come to save them. Nobody is going to come help them. They're not going to throw any pennies their way, any dollars. They're not going to come and donate any kind of bread or anything to them. No nation is going to help them. Nobody is coming to save them, bro. This is it for them, bro. And that version, or they call, or the metaphor that we all use for those of us in the truth, is a cup of cool water to quench this person that's going through absolute hell. So and right now we in a time right now where outside, and it's worser levels, in hell. For me, my hell right now is to struggle out of women's rulership and facing myself because I'm my own enemy. And then on top of that, learning that my family, I love them, but they not strong and they not family like I thought they was, and living in this time and day and all these curses and these things that's happening, we're being scattered, so I have to come up on my own. I have to be about myself. I have to be stronger. I have to be a little bit meaner, I have to survive, so, if I don't come out of this, I could see myself either being stuck in some damn motel paying this money every day, or I could be stuck like that man, deeper in the hellhole. The hellhole is deep, man. It's deep, man. And hitting the rock bottom of that hellhole ain't no joke. And a lot of our brothers and sisters that are Israelites that are homeless, they at the rock bottom of that hellhole. It's cold, it's dark, it's lonely. Nobody's coming to help you. You at the mercy of everybody else. Some of them are on drugs, which my apologies, the hellhole can get even deeper when you on drugs and you off powder and you off crack and nobody loves you and nobody cares for you, and you just lost, and that shit is terrifying. And that's exactly where these white people are headed, especially the royalty of the whites, them rich ass elites and all of them. They're going to be bums and the kingdom to come, and nobody's going to help them. Nobody's going to take care of them. And them flames of hell, which is the poverty, is going to burn the shit out of them, bro. You ain't got to be burned by fire, bro. It's ways that the Lord can burn you, and you don't have to burst into flames. It's that bad. So it says, but Abraham said, it says, then he cried out and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented by this flame. That flame is the flame of poverty, the flame of being poor, the flame of being homeless, the flame of being broke, the flame of struggling. It says, but Abraham said, Son, remember that in your lifetime you receive your good things. That's the white man. It says, and likewise Lazarus received evil things, but now he is comforted and you are tormented. Right? We not gonna have no pain. We're gonna be hella rich. We're gonna be happy. We'll have our families. We'll be reunited. It ain't gonna be no more war. It ain't gonna be no more hatred among the Negroes, Mexicans, and Indians. We'll all be together. You know, we'll be with Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. We'll be with our husband Yahushai. We'll be with the angels. We'll all be together. No more pain. No more struggling. No more disease. You know, no more heartache. No more curses. No more. All of that shit gonna stop, and we'll be like that forever. It says. It says. And besides all this, between us and you, there is a great gulf fixed, so that those who want to pass from here to you cannot, nor can those from there pass to us. Meaning that gulf is that power, is that divinity, is who we are. So we'll never go back to being poor when this is all over with. And them them nations that got it all right now, they'll never rise to be nations they'll be nations, but they'll never rise to richness ever again. This is it. So it says, then he said, I beg you, therefore, Father, that you would send him to my father's house, for I have 5 brothers, that he may testify to them, lest they also come to this place of torment. It says, and Abraham said to him, they have Moses and the prophets, let them hear them. It says, and he said, no, Father Abraham, but if one goes to them from the dead, they will repent. It says, but he said to them, if they do not hear Moses and the prophets, neither will they be persuaded, though one rise from the dead. There it is. It says, then he said to his disciples, it is impossible that no offenses should come, but woe to him through him that they do come. It would be better for him if it were a millstone thrown upon his neck and were thrown into the sea, that he should offend these little ones. Meaning that if these white people were to heed the warnings of the Lord a long time ago and were to give the children of Israel back their royalties, and for them to go back to their place, and their place was the homelessness, the destitute, and the poorness that they came from, or go back to Europe, so to speak, they wouldn't have did that. They wouldn't have did that, and following the laws of Moses and all of them and understanding who the children of Israel are, they would have denied it, even from a person that came back from the dead and told them what the next life was going to be like for them. They would have denied it. They would have thought it was crazy because the white man don't got no spirituality. He don't believe in shit. A lot of them white people don't believe in shit. They don't even believe in the Lord. Some of them just use that as some sort of way to justify their kindness and all of that. And they don't have no God, but I'm just saying that, some way to look fancy, some way to have some respect or to play on the feelings of other people. They don't really believe, in the Bible. They don't believe in that. So one more scripture for them, but it's not from the Bible. It's from something that I saw in a movie. But that shit was interesting. This is for the children of Edom, because this is what's going to happen to them. It says, the gates of hell are open night and day. Smooth the descent and easy is the way. But to come back from hell and view the cheerful skies, and this task and mighty labor lies. And that's it. And one more, I'm going to say it one more time. It says the gates. It says the gates of hell are open night and day. Smooth the descent and easy is the way. But to come back from hell and view the cheerful skies, and this the task, and mighty labor lies. And that's it. And that's exactly what happened to the children of Israel. We've seen hell, we've lived it, we've been in it, and for us to come back was our task. For us to go back to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai was our mission. Now that we found that, the Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is going to get us up out of here. And that's that. And with that, call on Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. In the name Yahushai, Shalom, Shalom. Much love to Israel. All right. Goodbye.